If you or someone you know relies on food stamps or SNAP benefits, this message is extremely important. There's a serious situation unfolding that could affect millions of Americans this November. The USDA has just issued a warning that November 2025 SNAP benefits might be delayed indefinitely due to the ongoing government shutdown. This means that over 42 million people, including seniors, families with children, and individuals on disability benefits, could see interruptions in their food assistance. Now, before we go into what's happening, let's take a moment to understand how serious this is. SNAP benefits aren't just another government program. They're a lifeline for millions of low-income Americans who depend on them to put food on the table every month. And right now, that support may be at risk. The USDA released a letter to all state agencies explaining that, as long as the federal government remains shut down, there will not be enough funding to cover November's SNAP payments. The letter dated October 10th makes it very clear. Without congressional approval to release additional funds, November benefits cannot be issued. As of October 16th, the USDA has gone a step further. They have officially told all states to pause the process of requesting November food stamp funds. In other words, states have been instructed not to even ask for SNAP money for November because the funds simply don't exist right now. That is a very alarming development. So how did we get here? It all started when the federal government shutdown began on October 1st, 2025. This shutdown has already stopped or slowed down many government operations across the country, including some of those that are essential to distributing benefits like SNAP. Normally, the USDA sends funds to state agencies each month, based on how many people are currently receiving food assistance. But because of the shutdown, the USDA can't release those funds without approval from Congress. According to reports from USA Today, the USDA's Food and Nutrition Service warned that if the current lapse in appropriations continues, there will be insufficient funds to pay November SNAP benefits for approximately 42 million individuals across the nation. The letter was signed by SNAP Development Director Sasha Geston Paul and shared publicly by the North Carolina Department of Social Services. Let's break this down in simple terms. Every month, each state must send a report to the USDA showing how many people need food stamps and how much money is required to cover those benefits. Once approved, that data is sent to the Electronic Benefit System, the EBT vendors, that handle the actual payments you receive on your card. That process ensures that when your benefit date arrives, your SNAP funds are loaded on time. But now, with the USDA telling states to stop sending data and requests for November, the entire process is frozen. And the most worrying part? The USDA didn't give any specific date for when this pause will end. The official wording says, "until further notice," which suggests that this could go on indefinitely depending on how long the shutdown continues. This situation is particularly concerning because even if the government reopens in late October or early November, the delay in processing could still cause major disruptions. That's because the SNAP payment system operates on a staggered schedule. States prepare and process benefits weeks in advance to make sure payments go out on time. So even if the shutdown ends tomorrow, it may take time to restart everything, which could lead to delays for recipients in November and possibly even into December. Now, some people have asked whether states could just step in and cover the shortfall until the federal government gets back on track. Unfortunately, that's not possible. SNAP is entirely federally funded, and the amounts involved are enormous. For example, the state of Illinois alone administers over $350 million in food stamp benefits every single month. That's not something states can cover on their own budgets. In short, if the federal funds don't come through, there's simply no backup plan in place. That means millions of families could face a food assistance gap unless Congress acts quickly to end the shutdown or pass emergency funding for SNAP. Some states, including North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, have already started alerting their residents about potential delays. Local departments of human services are sending out letters warning households that their November SNAP payments may not arrive on time if the shutdown continues. This warning isn't just about money. It's about survival for families who rely on these benefits to eat. Seniors living on fixed incomes, people with disabilities, and families with children will be hit the hardest. And new applicants for SNAP benefits are also being affected. Some states have reportedly paused processing new applications for food assistance because their systems can't separate October and November funds during the shutdown. So what can you do if you rely on food stamps? First and foremost, plan ahead. Try to stretch your current SNAP balance as far as possible. Be mindful of what you buy, focus on essentials, and avoid any unnecessary spending until we know more about how long this shutdown will last. If you find yourself in an emergency situation where you run out of food or your benefits don't arrive, there are local resources that can help. Food banks, community pantries, and local assistance programs often step in during crises like this. You can call 211 from any phone in the U.S. to get connected with food assistance programs and resources in your area. It's also a good idea to stay informed by following trusted news updates and government announcements. The situation is changing quickly, and new developments could happen at any time. Now let's talk briefly about another issue that's important this time of year: Medicare open enrollment. Even though this isn't directly related to food stamps, it affects many of the same people, seniors and those on fixed incomes. Medicare open enrollment is currently underway, and it's your opportunity to review your health coverage and make changes if needed. Many seniors stay on the same plan year after year, but that can be a costly mistake. Every year, insurance companies adjust their coverage, premiums, and benefits. That means the plan that worked well for you last year might not be the best one this year. Reviewing your plan during open enrollment could save you hundreds or even thousands of dollars on out-of-pocket medical expenses. Some states are also introducing new pre-authorization requirements for certain Medicare services. If you live in Oklahoma, Ohio, Washington, New Jersey, Arizona, or Texas, you'll now need pre-approval for specific procedures, medical devices, or services under Original Medicare. This is a big change that could affect access to care if you're not aware of it. So, take a moment to check your annual notice of coverage. This letter outlines what's changing in your Medicare plan next year. Don't assume that your plan will stay the same. Review it carefully, compare your options, and make any necessary changes during this open enrollment window. Now, bringing it back to the main story, the potential SNAP benefit delay, this situation highlights just how fragile government support systems can be during a shutdown. Programs like SNAP, Social Security, and Medicare are all essential lifelines for millions of Americans. Yet they depend on Congress and the federal budget process to keep running smoothly. With political gridlock continuing in Washington, we could see more disruptions like this if lawmakers don't come to an agreement soon. For many Americans, this isn't just about politics. It's about whether they'll have food on the table next month. As of now, October SNAP benefits are still safe, since those funds were already approved before the shutdown began. But November is uncertain, and if Congress doesn't act fast, the situation could escalate. If you receive SNAP benefits, be sure to check your state's Department of Human Services website or your EBT account for updates. The USDA has promised to keep states informed as the situation develops, but the tone of their latest letter shows real concern. Phrases like "pause until further notice" indicate that this isn't a short-term issue. It could drag on well into the holiday season if the shutdown doesn't end soon. For millions of families, this could mean entering Thanksgiving and the end-of-year holidays without the ability to buy enough groceries. Food insecurity, which had been improving after the pandemic years, might rise again if benefits are delayed or reduced. In the coming weeks, it's critical that Americans remain aware of what's happening in Washington, because the decisions made there will directly affect your benefits and your financial security. Whether it's SNAP, Social Security, or Medicare, these programs depend on budget authorizations that can't happen without congressional approval. So, as we wait for updates from the USDA and Congress, take the time now to prepare. Use your current benefits wisely, plan for potential delays, and reach out to local resources if you need assistance. No one should go hungry because of political gridlock, but unfortunately, that's the situation millions could be facing if nothing changes. Stay safe, stay informed, and continue to check for updates from reliable sources. This story is still developing, and as soon as there's any news on when or if November SNAP benefits will be released, we'll make sure you know about it right away. That's all for today's update. Remember, your benefits are too important to ignore. Even if this situation improves, it's always best to stay prepared for any future uncertainty.